Hello and welcome to Dapper Man Dan. This is a new series, Motorsport Manager. We'll see how the Blake Motorsport team goes as they try to go up the ranks of the racing. This is on the Fire mod. And we are in Formula 3. We're going to target 10th place. I don't think the cars will be very underperforming, I think. So we'll go for 10th place in the Constructors. As we can see here, everything is awful, so that is not good at all. And the FIA Formula 3 Championship starts here at Guildford for the opening rounds. Friday practice at Guildford would see the reserve driver Domingo go out for a session along with Gomez, the team leader. Towards the end of the practice session, Gomez went out on a new set of medium tyres to set a lap in qualifying trim, as we can see here. Also, Domingo was in 20th place, a bit far off the pace, but Gomez a personal best in the first sector there, as you see qualifying trim up to level 3 there for Gomez. He has a green first sector, less than a tenth of a second off of the actual best purple sector time. A bit held up there, loses a bit of time in the second sector, but still it is a green personal best for Gomez as he comes around the last corner, finds a fantastic amount of speed in the final sector, finds 3/10, and it is enough to put in P1 in practice. So Gomez did have the fastest time in practice of Blake Motorsport here in Guildford, as you'll see now. It was Gomez from Joey Mawson, Max Gunther and Duvalo, with Alex Palou 5th and Jan Marzenborough riding out the top 6 as we headed into qualifying. Welcome to qualifying day at Guildford. We have Andre Gomez and Faith Anthony will be in the second car, who is the second driver. As you can see, we got the knowledge. We're going to go for qualifying trim level 3 and our soft tyres on level 3 on both cars, which is what we earned earlier in the practice. But the car setup decided to make a little bit of a change with Gomez's car, because the speed balance had actually been excellent earlier in the weekend. So I thought maybe try and get the gear ratios down maybe just a little bit to get to that excellent mark again on that one, just to try and make this car a little bit more drivable. Gomez was one who took the fastest lap time in the practice session. Put him on a set of softs for his first run. It's a very short and sharp qualifying session in Formula 3, the 8-minute session. And the same with Anthony. Anthony's car, the optimal balance is only 92%, so a little bit lower than the Gomez car, but everything seems to be okay. So we went into the qualifying session, 8 minutes has started now, and the first qualifying session underway for the first race of the Formula 3 season in Guildford. You've got Gomez, who is going to be sent out first for Blake Motorsport here. As you can see, done everything that we had to do beforehand. Gomez can go on track. He's on the out lap, just leaving the pits now, and then shortly after we'll send Faith Anthony on the way as well. Leaving the pits now is Anthony. Gomez on the track. Well, I didn't realise, this is obviously the first session, the first race. I didn't realise about the whole clear air optimization and getting the brake and tyre temps up. I don't know why, it didn't click that I actually had to do anything, so I was just letting it run down on Gomez. I think it's about halfway round, when it's about 3/4 of the way through, I suddenly realised I think I've got to do something with this. Yeah, as you see there, I suddenly realise I need to do something, and then I start moving it up to try and get some temperature into those brakes and tyres, but to no avail. And it means Gomez has to go out for the first run with cold brakes and cold tyres. The same for Anthony, exactly the same. Although Anthony, the brakes were a little bit more warmer, but still very cold. So the Blake Motorsport drivers already at a disadvantage on their first lap. You get 2 runs in these 8-minute sessions, and Gomez already 4/10 down on the fastest time going through the first sector. So it looks like having those brakes and tyres up to temperature is very important. You see some purple sectors going in through the lap as the cars now begin to finish the first lap of their qualifying session. As we see now, Gomez just going through sector 3 now. Anthony not too far behind. Alexander Sims took pole briefly before Darula took it off him. So Darula it was who had pole position, and Gomez crossed the line in 6th. He was the slowest of the runners who'd been out on track to set a time, as then Lando Norris came across the line to take pole position for Carling provisionally, but Faith Anthony comes across the line in 12th place. You see Gomez and Anthony 11th and 12th dropping down like a stone through the qualifying order. Guildford just about to take the halfway point in the session as Joel Eriksson goes fastest with a 110.212 in the session. So Joel Eriksson was the quickest, and we were over a second and a half off the pace in the Blake Motorsport car, so not ideal by far. As Alex Palau then set the fastest time of 110.191 on the soft tyres, and there is less than a tenth of a second covering the first four. Palau was on pole, Ericsson second, Norris third, but there was less than half a second separating, less than half a tenth even separating those top four, showing just how competitive it was. The balance on Gomez up to 98%, the optimum balance, so Gomez was going to go out for a second time with just under 3.5 minutes on the clock. Anthony was just going to come in as well after the first one for that car. And Anthony, that's a 92% optimum balance on that car. Maybe a couple of small changes I think I made here. Potentially not, I don't think I did. I thought the car was pretty good, so I sent it back out for a second go as it was. I'm not doing this as a live commentary because I was going to do it as live, but then the microphone I was using didn't seem to work. But now I know what's going on with the clear optimization. I see there's a car just behind, so I let that car go. It takes a little while for it to go past, and then on the with Anthony, I've actually got it overheating on the brakes, I noticed, so I tried to turn it down a little bit. You've got Gomez, who's still, the brake temps are pretty much there. It's just the tyre temp. We want to try and get a little bit more temp in the tyres. They're running cold at the moment, and this will be the last lap that Gomez will have. And then the brake temps overheated brakes, but the tyres are perfect, so what happens with Gomez on this lap will be interesting to see. As Gomez crosses the line with 1 minute and 42 left to start his last qualifying lap. Anthony just behind as well, but it was still Palau on pole from Ericsson, and Norris ran out the top three. So we do have 2 green sectors for Gomez. It might be an improvement on lap time, but will it be an improvement on position? Comes down the final corner. Is it going to be a 3rd green sector? It is a 3rd green sector, but not enough to move him any higher than 19th. Anthony as well completes the lap in 20th place. So Blake Motorsport will be on the back row for the Guildford GP race, it looks like, unless anything happens in the near future to change that. Well, it won't. Nothing's going to change it because we've both done the laps. They're in. The qualifying session is over. Gomez 19th and Anthony in 20th place. There was a change though towards the end of the sessions. You see there was less than a tenth between the top 5 cars in the session. Lando Norris is in 4th. Raoul Hyman did a fantastic last lap to go 34 thousandths behind the pole man Alex Palau, and Joel Eriksson in 2nd place. So the last few cars now come into the pits at Guildford. We will then see what the qualifying results were for the first round of the FIA Formula 3 Championship here at Guildford. And there you go, it's Alex Palau on pole position, the Spaniard for Toda Racing. He was the man who took pole position. So Alex Palau took pole, Joel Eriksson was 2nd, you have Raoul Hyman in 3rd, Lando Norris 4th, with Fusello in 5th place. You've got Jarula 6th, Mawson was 7th, Mick Schumacher 8th, Maximilian Gunther 9th, Harrison Newey was 10th, Mikael Jensen 11th, you have Jan Marden 12th, Alexander Sims 13th. Pedro Piquet was 14th, and then Sato, the Japanese driver, down in 15th place. You can see there, 19th and 20th, over a second off the pace, were Andre Gomez and Faith Anthony. It's race day in Guildford. Here's how the grid lines up. Alex Palau and Joel Eriksson on the front row. Row 2 is Raul Hyman and Lando Norris. Row 3 is Julian Fajero and Jovan Duvalle. The 4th row is Joey Mawson and Mick Schumacher. On the 5th row is Mick Schumacher's teammate Maximilian Gunther and Harrison Newey in 10th place. Outside the top 10, on 11th place is Mikael Jensen with Jan Mardenborough in 12th. 13th, Alexander Sims and Pedro Piquet 14th. And then we have 3 Japanese drivers, 15th, 16th and 17th. Marino Sato, Ukyo Sashihara and Tadasuki Makino. Ralph Lauer in 18th, and rounding out the 20 car field with a Blake Motorsport pair of Andre Gomez and Faith Anthony. Got Faith Anthony starting on the mediums, Gomez on the soft. There's 4 lights, there's 5. And we're racing here in Guildford. It's a great start from Gomez. He's already made a position up, and Ralph Aaron puts himself up into 18th place. And there's a car off in the ground. It's Lando Norris. Lando Norris, who started on the 2nd row, is now right at the back of the field. A mistake from the British driver in his home race. Is now Gomez in 17th and Faith Anthony up into 19th as they go down through the first sector. Now going through that long second sector up the straight. Then you got the left-right section, but Gomez made a fantastic start there. He's up 2 places. The start saw him go past Arrow, and also he went past the car of Norris as it came back on the track as they're about to go around the final corner for the first time. It's Palau leading, Ericsson is in 2nd place, Ralph Hyman in 3rd, but Blake Motorsport, you've got Gomez in 17th place, and Faith Anthony now down to 20th, Lando Norris already making a position. Further on in lap 2, you've got Gomez going down the inside there. He's going to take a place from Pedro Piquet, so he's now up into 16th place. Is Gomez, and now is he going to try and go at Sasha Hara here through the left-right section? Yes, he is. He takes a place as well. Sasha Hara is now down more of the places, and we got 14th place for Gomez. So he's gone past Sasha Hara, and he's also gone past Makino as well, the other Japanese driver. So to start lap 3, Andre Gomez up into 14th place. Gomez now is going to try and make a move here on the car of Alexander Sims. It looks like they're going side by side, and Gomez is through. Gomez makes the move stick. I don't think it is Alexander Sims, in fact. But Gomez up into 13th place now, so he's made a fantastic move. Although the car's fighting back, they're kind of 14th place. They go side by side across the start finish line. It's just 3 of them battling. Gomez will have to be brave here to try and stick it through the inside, which he does, and Gomez takes the place. Gomez keeps 13th place. That was very brave driving. They nearly went 3 wide into turn 1, but Gomez keeps a place. He's up into 13th place, and now the next target is Alexander Sims. I thought it was Sims he able to start with, but obviously it wasn't. Things are going quite well for Blake Motorsport. Anthony had gone longer on the medium tyres and got back up, but this is when I made the absolute mess up of the race and ruined both drivers' race in the process. I accidentally double stacked Gomez behind Anthony, wasn't thinking, and Anthony had a repair to do as well on the engine, so that made things even worse, even longer in the pits for Gomez. And I think Gomez will be quite unhappy with me for this, because I've cost him potentially a top 15. They was running quite well until there, but as you can see, both drivers were double stacked, and that meant we came out 19th and 20th. The only other car that was in front of us, anywhere near us, was Ericsson, who'd also had to make a component change. He came into the pits, but on lap 12 of 18 it looked like it was bad news. On the latter stages of the race now, we're on lap 13 of 18, Alex Palau goes past Raul Hyman. Alexander Sims crashed, and as a result we saw the safety car being deployed, and this was good news for Gomez, because it means he may be able to catch up to the back of the pack. It's like, shall I pit or shall I not pit? Do I go onto wets? He looked at the water on track. I don't think it's going to be substantial enough to facilitate the need to go onto the wet tyres, so I cancelled his pit stop, kept him on inters. Anthony asked the same question, shall I pit a safety car? And it's like, well, not really. We'll back off on the fuel, we'll let the tyres cool down. Both the drivers at this point were marginal on fuel, so the best thing to do, put them both down on their fuel and hope that they would catch up to the safety car train. Both cars were currently on the lead lap, so there wasn't a problem with that. Anthony there going past the safety car in 18th place, and Gomez is in 19th place. He's just about to go past the safety car as well. At this point, you're thinking there's 5 laps to go. If we can get onto the back of the train, the safety car train, maybe something going on. At this stage of the race, it's Palau leading from Raul Hyman in 2nd place, with Daryl Vala in 3rd. At this point, I saw that Gomez had to get an engine fix, and I thought, well, we're under the safety car. We're going to lose less time doing it under reduced speed condition than if I take him in during a normal pit stop. I thought it would have to be done. It was getting quite critical. If I got the engine fixed, I could maybe push a bit higher and harder towards the end of the race. So I made the decision there and then that I was going to bring Gomez into the pits. The safety car, though, was only about a quarter of a lap behind Gomez, but I still brought Gomez into the pits to get the repairs done. As you can see there, the engine is being repaired for Gomez. Anthony is keeping up with Ericsson, trying to get on the back of the safety car line, and also you got Gomez just leaving the pits now as touch and go, almost losing a lap there, Gomez, but we got him out just in time. And the safety car will be coming in very shortly. There was one more safety car lap, but we decided we needed to get I don't know why I did that for with Anthony. I think I thought it was the wrong car. What I wanted to do that with was Gomez, because obviously Gomez at this point is even half a lap behind Anthony, who's not quite caught the safety car line at this point, and it's like, ooh, don't really want to be losing time where the driver hasn't caught up to the safety car and they're behind anyway. But the 2 drivers were a long way behind the rest of them anyway after the cock up with the double stacking in the pits. So by that point we were already not in a great position, but stuck Anthony on push to try and get up to the safety car line. And yeah, Anthony was pretty much at this point on the back of the safety car. We could put her down to conserve and the fuel and conserve the tyres. There was no need for her to push. It was only really Gomez who needed to push at that point, because he was still half a lap behind and the safety car was going to be coming in on that lap. But as far as everyone on intermediates at the moment, obviously, and with the rain on track. But there we see Gomez rushing to try and get back to the back of the line. You see Anthony there in 18th place, just coming down towards the hairpin after sector 1, and Gomez looks like he may not quite make it to the back of the safety car line, because the safety car going through that left-right section at the end of sector 2, just going into sector 3. Anthony is on the back of the safety car at this point, which is good, because it means she might be able to make a push. Her fuel numbers are not looking great though, even still, so there's a chance that we're still going to have to back off as the safety car came into the pits. And when the racing was resuming again, Gomez hadn't quite caught up, but I think he was only about 5-6 seconds behind. It wasn't too far behind. He was on the same straight, but with 3 laps remaining, both cars were at the back of the pack. Here we are on the final lap with the fuel situation. Anthony was able to push a little bit, but by this point she wasn't really close enough to attack. Hadn't dropped off that far off the train, but there was no way they were going to catch the car in front, despite the fact that the fuel number was looking good. Tried to push it a little bit towards the end, but wasn't really going to work out. It was going to be an 18th place for Anthony. My main worry was Gomez going to finish the race, because Gomez, I backed him right off to try and get him to finish the race. His fuel number didn't think was quite going to make it. Anthony though crossed the line with fuel to spare. Gomez was very, very marginal indeed, and in fact Gomez it was who ran out of fuel literally just as he crossed the line. So in the end it was an 18th and 19th finish, but Alex Palau took victory from pole position. He converted it, although he didn't have much tyre left at the end of the race. Had the scrutineering checks done by the GMA. There was no rules broken. Alex Palau won from Raul Hyman. Harrison Newey was 3rd. Maximilian Gunther 4th. Joey Mawson 5th. Daravala 6th. Mick Schumacher 7th, Marino Sato finished 8th for the fastest lap. Mikael Jensen was 9th and Jan Mardenborough in 10th got the final point. Lando Norris recovered from 20th down to 11th. We were 19th and 20th, unfortunately. Teams Championships is, as you see there. And CZ Perry says it was a hard-fought win for Palau in Guildford as he took the first victory of the season in Formula 3. Formula 1 had their first race at Sydney. Sebastian Vettel took the win for Ferrari. Danny Kvyat took second for Toro Rosso. Kimi Raikkonen third. Lewis Hamilton was fourth. Daniel Ricciardo fifth. Nico Hülkenberg sixth. Carlos Sainz Jr. seventh. Felipe Massa was eighth. Lance Stroll ninth. And 10th place was the driver of Fernando Alonso at Sydney, leaving the championship like that. Max Verstappen outside the points, as well as Valtteri Bottas for Mercedes. So it looks like they may have had some trouble along the way in that one. Formula 2 have also had their first race of the season, their 12th race season at Dubai, and Charles Leclerc took the win. Nicholas Latifi was second. Gustav Mallier in third. For British interest, Oliver Rowland was in 5th place. But the top three are Charles Leclerc, Nicholas Latifi and Gustav Mallier. Nicholas Latifi, you may remember, had a spell in the Porsche Carrera Cup UK. So for me, Formula 1 have also just had their second race of the season as well. It was at Beijing and Lewis Hamilton took victory with Valtteri Bottas second. Mercedes taking 1-2. Esteban Ocon was third for Force India. Max Verstappen fourth for Red Bull. Sebastian Vettel was fifth for Ferrari. Sixth Daniel Ricciardo. Seventh Kimi Raikkonen. 8th is Felipe Massa, 9th to Danny Kvyat, and Fernando Alonso again in the points. He takes 10th place, his second consecutive one, and that means that Lewis Hamilton leads the Drivers' Championship for Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen. Danny Kvyat 4th, Valtteri Bottas in 5th place, Daniel Ricciardo 6th, Esteban Ocon 7th, Max Verstappen 8th, Nico Hülkenberg 9th, and Felipe Massa rounding out the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship. In the Teams Championship, Ferrari lead Mercedes by 1 point. Red Bull Racing 3rd, Scuderia Toro Rosso 4th, Force India 5th, Renault 6th, Williams 7th and McLaren 8th. Two teams yet to get off the mark this season, Haas and Sauber. Formula 2 have also held their second race of the season, this one at Tondela. And there's Norman Nato winning from Alexander Albon in second and Nick De Vries third. And what this means for the championship is that Charles Leclerc now leads Norman Nato by 2 points, with Lorandi in third place, Nick De Vries in fourth, and Alexander Albon fifth, with Nicholas Latifi sixth and Gustav Mallier in seventh. Oliver Rowland down in 10th place. Tune in to the second episode of Dapper Man Dan's Motorsport Manager, where we'll be in the second round of the Formula 3s.